What's up, guys? Happy Monday morning. Some of you are probably winning, some of you are probably losing, some of you are probably unsure where you are right now. Wins, loss, lessons learned. A lot happens typically to kick off the year as new initiatives and new missions and new desires and new goals and targets come to life. So hopefully you're on the ladder. Hopefully you're winning. Hopefully you are accomplishing where you are this year to date. Today's topic has me unknowingly, or not knowing even why, it just makes me a little uncomfortable talking about it. So I want to share with you a little bit about how my mindset around my faith and religion and God has kind of evolved over the years. My desired outcome of that is hopefully to give somebody permission to dig a little bit deeper, or to make it not as awkward for you to get started. And so I grew up like Roman Catholic. I actually went to a Catholic elementary school that was attached to a convent. Like the nuns were literally in the same building. And it was just, was an altar boy, was heavily involved. And then around my early teenage years, I started asking a lot of questions. I think this is where a lot of people hit a Y in the road, or hit a pivot in the road, of a difference between which direction they go in is based on when they start looking for answers, what do they get? And so I went around to a lot of adults that I knew in the church and around the church, and people I worked with. I had a summer job, I'm probably 15 at this point. And why do we believe what we believe? And everybody told me the same thing. It's because it's just what we do. And that just wasn't a good enough answer for me. And at that point, I made a decision, kind of like, as a child, an adolescent, ignorant of like, I refuse to believe something just because people are telling me to. And I kind of vocalized it at one point to my mom, and like that led to like some of the darkest, worst years of my life. Like that 16 to like 23 was bad. I was looking back, I'm not the man I am now. I'm not the person I am now. I'm not the friend I am now. I'm not the lover that I am now. Like I was just in a bad spot. I was drinking daily, smoking a pack or two of cigarettes a day. I was treating people poorly. I was selfish. I was egotistical. I was loud. It wasn't good. And that season kind of stopped when we moved to Charlotte, and we were invited to Elevation Church. If you know Elevation and Pastor Stephen Furtick, I think he's one of the greatest speakers alive right now. Like not just as a pastor, but in general, I think he's one of the best speakers in the world. And we went to Elevation Church and watched him preach for like 10 years live, and like people travel from all over the world to watch that man preach. And that was really where I saw a different perspective. Catholics are very structured, very routine driven. And, I went to this church that was basically a rock show. Like the band was on, like the worship team was up there, and it was just like this giant loud show. And then he came on, was just this I was very enamored. He was a great speaker, and I learned a lot. And that's where I started the journey of like, what does this mean? And what I committed to was showing up. And it went through seasons. Some seasons we went weekly, some seasons we didn't. And then what really changed was when we moved to Greenville. We lost like what we call our church home, and we tried a couple and just didn't feel it. And then, the kids was really the driving factor, where like MJ and Ever were really saying like, hey, we want to go back to church. And so we started searching again, late, mid 2023. But my mindset around it is completely different now. And the journey's been hard. The journey's been rough. Even now, I'm physically uncomfortable talking about it. And I have to get to the bottom as to why. And I hope that I go through that evolution and can share that other side with you at some point. But something happened to me in this search for a new church. And, Sam Kaufman and his family moved to Greenville to come work for me as on the team. And, they're very like small group and church centric for years. And obviously like Clifton on our team is, that man operates from faith in a way that I aspire to. Like he has this mindset about it and a relationship with God that I've never seen before. And, I'm not sure I know how to give or receive love the way that God wants, or I've seen these men in my life who do it in a really high way. But when they came, we basically, Tiff and I decided like, we're going to make this happen now. Like we kind of dragged our feet on it. And we found a church here called Springwell. And I can't tell you what it was, and I can't tell you why. But the senior pastor there, I've only been to like 3 services. And it's kind of like weird to even say, because I went to, Pastor Furtick was just like one of the greatest speakers. This guy's a good speaker. But I connected with him in a way that I hadn't before. to the point where like I actually scheduled a call to see if like he would become a spiritual coach mentor to me. That call hasn't happened yet as of this recording. It will have happened by the time this recording comes out, so I'll have more to share after that. But my mindset around it now is more about not needing to figure it out on my own. And like I'm not sure why it took so long to do that. I'm not sure why it took so long for me to realize that I would need help in that when like I am a coach. I coach people through things all the time. But I realized that like I need help with somebody that I respect and somebody that I connect with, and I don't know if it's going to be the pastor from Springwell or not, but I'll tell you that seeing the way that Sam and Amanda show up in their faith, seeing the way that Clifton shows up in his faith, seeing how clients have changed and how church was a big part of TIFF and how excited the kids are about it, like my mindset shift has been like I have to figure this out. Like I have to understand why this makes me uncomfortable. I have to understand what this relationship with God, for me is going to look like. And I don't really know the Bible. Like I know stories and stuff, but I don't know scripture that well. And that thing always made me uncomfortable as well. Because when people start to question me on stuff, I don't really have like a good argument. Like I don't know, man, just because that's just how I feel about it. And like that's what I got told. And so my mindset shift now is I'm on this journey to learn why I feel the way I feel so that I can have a more articulate answer for when my sons come to me. Damn, that's gonna make me cry. When my sons come to me with that question at some point, that I'll have an answer for them, that I'll have an ability to give them the lessons learned through my own journey. And I need help for that. And so like my mindset shift is like, I need help. And I'm seeking it, and I'm finding it, and I'm excited to be able to report back at some point after I, embark on this journey with the senior pastor from Springwell. But having somebody like having the Kaufmans there with us, and having Sam there with us as a man I respect, and having Clifton on the team, and many others, like we've had seasons where like the coaching staff was doing a Bible study at one point together. Like it's just so cool to see how God is showing up around my life. And I think God works through me very aggressively. Like when I get on stage, I can't tell you what I say. It just comes out. When I record stuff like this, I can't tell you what I'm going to say. It just comes out. And like I have to put some belief that like God has his hand in the mixture, and he's delivering a message to people through me. But I want that relationship. Like I want to know what like Sam and Clifton and those guys like feel, and learn why, and learn the ability to articulate that. And my why right now is so that, when my sons come to me when they're 13, 14, 15 years old and ask why is God such a big part of our life, and why do we believe that I have an answer. And I don't have one right now. And maybe that gives you permission to say you don't know either. And maybe that this is a message that will become a more bigger part of my my message in building a bigger business and life and family and customers and employees and the team. But I don't know. I don't know what it's going to mean yet. But I know that my mindset has shifted wildly from asking for answers to now seeking my own. And I wish it wouldn't have taken so long. But I believe that everything happens for a reason. I think timing happens for a reason. I think things progress in certain seasons for a reason, and I believe that 2024 is my season to figure that out. And hopefully by the end of the year, I have more to share on that. But for now, my mindset shift is I am going to seek answers to questions that I didn't get answers to. So hopefully that helps you this week. Hopefully that gives you permission to ask questions differently or seek answers differently. And, if whether you believe or not, I hope that brought you some insight to what I'm going through, so that you can give yourself permission in some part of your journey to go after something differently this year. Man, this is uncomfortable for me. And so go do hard because it's never as bad as you think it's going to be, and you evolve every time you push through that comfort zone. So get out there this week, find a conversation to have, find something to seek differently, seek clarity, seek answers. So the next time that someone asks you a question that you ask somebody else, you have a better answer. Go in fast, everybody. Love you guys.